Salam keluarga Malaysia, hello and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brendan Paul and you're watching Updates at Noon. Making the headlines today. Malaysia records 42.8 billion ringgit in investments. And government to carry on with Gua Musang hydroelectric dam project. Malaysia has attracted a total of 42.8 billion ringgit approved investments in the manufacturing, services and primary sectors, involving 910 projects in January to March 2022. The foreign direct investments (FDI) remained the major contributor at 65% or 27.8 billion ringgit, while investments from domestic sources contributed 35%, amounting to 15 billion ringgit. During the period, the manufacturing sector continued to assume an important role in driving the country's economic recovery, accounting for more than half of total approved investments of 30 billion ringgit, followed by the services sector at 12.7 billion ringgit and the primary sector at 100 million ringgit. Of the total foreign direct investments approved, Germany dominated foreign investments for the period of January to March, with investments totaling 8.9 billion ringgit, followed by Brunei with 5.1 billion ringgit and the United States with 3.9 billion ringgit. For projects approved by the states, 5 major states, namely Kedah, Pulau Pinang, Selangor, Sabah and Johor, contributed 31.8 billion ringgit of the total investments approved from January to March this year. Senior International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said Malaysia remains an attractive investment destination for global investors, with the manufacturing sector maintaining its position as a key pillar of the economy, generating significant multiplier effects on the nation's growth. The Plantation Industries and Commodities Ministry is urging oil palm farmers to switch from chemical fertilizers to organic ones amid soaring fertilizer prices. Its Minister Datuk Zuraida Kamarudin said this initiative aims to help ease the burden of the farmers following the high cost of fertilizers, amounting to 60% of the palm oil production price. Explaining further, Datuk Zuraida said the usage of organic fertilizers can provide a good yield to the farmers, apart from enhancing food security. She further noted that safe food production can protect Malaysian consumers from the hazards of diseases brought on by food. According to Datuk Zuraida, the ministry had been working closely with the Malaysian Palm Oil Board and other agencies to come up with new ideas to help farmers cope with the rising costs, such as locally made biofertilizers from palm kernel shells, which are usually burnt or planted. The ministry had also opened applications for 2 incentives, namely the Oil Palm Integrated Farming Scheme and the Agro Bank MPOB Easy Financing Scheme. These are to encourage oil palm farmers to diversify their sources of income through cash crops and optimize the use of their land while enabling them to recover the excess production costs that they incur from rising fertilizer prices. There is no reason for the government to terminate the construction of Nenggeri hydroelectric dam project in Gua Musang, Kelantan. Energy and Natural Resources Minister Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan said the project aims to serve 3 main objectives, namely as electricity generator, flood mitigation and source of clean water, as well as for eco-tourism purposes. Elaborating further, Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin said an environmental impact assessment, heritage impact assessment and social impact assessment had been conducted for the dam project, with the Human Rights Commission also involved as the middleman between the Orang Asli community in the affected area and the Government and Tenaga Nasional Berhad (TNB).
Orang asli di perkampungan yang terlibat di hidro Nenggeri ini, beberapa kampung, 3 kampung, telah diberikan tempat penempatan dengan pembiayaan daripada kerajaan dan juga TNB sendiri. Juga bukan saja diberikan perumahan tetapi juga tapak kebun dan juga segala kemudahan sosial, sekolah dan sebagainya.
The minister said this in response to allegations by some parties that the construction of the Negeri Dam would affect the livelihoods of the Orang Asli in the construction area and wanted the government to cancel the project. He also said that the project received the support of more than 80% of respondents based on several studies done previously. The Environment and Water Ministry will continue to monitor the lanthanide rare earth mining project set to take place at a forest reserve in Hulu Perak. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, said although the pilot project for the mining had received the Environmental Impact Assessment approval, it would still need to be monitored. According to Datuk Sri Tuan Ibrahim, a project with an impact on the environment must be carried out in accordance with the set rules.
Saya difahamkanlah sebagai satu pilot project. Cuma dalam konteks EIA, mereka mohon bila mereka mematuhi semua syarat-syarat EIA, mereka dapat kelulusan EIA. Tapi walaupun EIA lulus, selepas projek tu kita terus monitor projek-projek tersebut. Bukan lulus tu dia boleh dia mesti ada monitoring daripada agensi Jabatan Alam Sekitar, khususnya unit EIA, kemudian daripada Kerajaan Negeri dan sebagainya.
It was reported that on 23rd May, Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Sarani Mohamad confirmed the discovery of lanthanide in the Hulu Perak area, which was found during tin ore extraction work. Datuk Sri Sarani said lanthanide is more valuable resource than tin, as the rare earth element could be used for products such as smartphones, watches and electronics. However, some parties objected to the mining effort out of concern over its adverse effects on the environment. And in other news, Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Ayub Han Maidin Pichai has denied an allegation posted on the edisi Siasat Telegram that he had issued a statement claiming many senior officers in the department were involved in drug trafficking. He described the posting as a mere fabrication with malicious intent to undermine the credibility of the leadership of the Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) and the image of the police force, as well as to give an impression of widespread corruption in the department. In a statement, he explained that if there is strong evidence that there are police officers or personnel colluding with drug trafficking syndicates, PDRM will not hesitate to take stern action. Datuk Ayub Han further said that whatever success achieved by PDRM was the result of cooperation among all the departments in the police force with other departments and agencies. He reminded the public not to easily believe and be influenced by any baseless and unverified statements, adding that sharing or disseminating such statements would raise public concern and anxiety. His statement was issued in response to a posting on the edisi Siasat Telegram, which went viral, claiming that there were high-ranking officers in the PDRM protecting drug trafficking syndicates and getting, quote, big rewards or bribes in return. The National Recovery Council (NPN) is of the view that there is an urgent need to strengthen the feed industry so that the country achieve a self-sufficiency level and the cost of feed input is more manageable and not affected by external factors. Its chairman, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, said the country is facing the issue of rising chicken prices recently, as almost 100% of animal feed is imported, and supply disruptions in the global chain had caused prices to increase several-fold.
Semua pemegang taruh harus bekerjasama dalam menangani kenaikan harga barang, terutamanya barang makanan, supaya semua rakyat Malaysia dapat menikmati hasil pemulihan ekonomi pasca pandemik yang lebih menyeluruh dan bermakna.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the NPN is of the view that it may be appropriate for the government to review the import policy of animal feed and put efforts for some of the materials produced in the country. He said the move requires a policy decision, for example, at the level of government-linked companies which had land planted with oil palm, so that part of the area is used for maize cultivation, especially during the replanting period. The move is seen as appropriate so that Malaysia would not be 100% dependent and be able to reduce animal feed imports in the future. Malaysian Hajj pilgrims' politeness and high discipline, as well as orderly management, are among the factors behind the country's selection in the Makkah route program. Malaysian Hajj delegation head Datuk Sri Syed Saleh Syed Abdul Rahman said that to make it even more special, Malaysia had carved its own history when it became the only country chosen by the Saudi Arabian government, where the program was first implemented in 2017. Datuk Sri Syed Saleh said this year only 5 countries were selected for the special program, namely Malaysia, Morocco, Pakistan, Indonesia and Bangladesh.
Immigration Arab Saudi berada di KLIA untuk meriksa pasport jemaah haji, dan seterusnya apabila jemaah haji sampai di lapangan terbang Madinah ataupun Jeddah, mereka tidak lagi memerlukan untuk melalui pemeriksaan immigration. Mereka akan terus menaiki bas untuk ke hotel mereka masing-masing. Ini satu kemudahan yang diberi untuk keselesaan dan juga untuk kerehatan yang secukupnya kepada para jemaah haji daripada Malaysia ini.
According to Datuk Sri Syed Saleh, the Saudi Arabian government also seems comfortable in dealing with the Lembaga Tabung Haji because the agency is able to act directly in Hajj-related matters, and the existing management system also facilitates the implementation of the Makkah route. In sports, Malaysia qualifies for 2023 Asian Cup finals. Stay with us. The Harimau Malaya squad has successfully qualified for the 2023 Asian Cup finals, ending the 43-year wait to compete in the finals of the prestigious cup. The squad, led by Kim Panggon, proved their mettle by concluding the Group E qualifiers in second place after defeating Bangladesh 4-1. In the match, which took place at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium, Harimau Malaya needed at least a win to book their slot into the 2023 Asia Cup. Panggon's boys, however, showed that they can do better than in a dominating display, which began with an early stunner by Safawi Rashid in the 16th minute. The pressure was further piled on Bangladesh when Dion Kool doubled the lead in the 38th. 2 more goals for the national squad came from Shafiq Ahmad in the 47th minute and Darren Locht in the 73rd minute. The opponent's single goal of the night by Muhammad Ibrahim in the 31st minute was scant consolation for the visitors. Malaysia accompanies Bahrain to the Asia Cup next year as the 2 representatives of Group E. Bahrain automatically qualified for the slot following their unbeaten run across 3 matches in the Group E qualifiers. That concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. A reminder of our top story: Malaysia records 42.8 billion ringgit in investments. Do join us for the news at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on RTM's English News channel. Until then, I'm Brendan Lepol. Thank you for tuning in and have a pleasant day.